praising people goes a long way, and it really works. And what you can do with praise is you can tell somebody, here's what's good that you want them to keep doing. You can tell them, this is what is giving results, this is what is working. And then when you do that, man, they go in a much better direction faster. There's this old saying in human behavior that if you can learn how to train a dog, then you can also learn how to train a human being. And when you think about with dogs, the way you get them to do things is that you reward them. They're much more inclined to do what you want them to do if you can reward behavior, good behavior that you see. And not to belittle people, but it's the same thing. Like if you see something that somebody does that's really great, tell them, and then they're more likely to do it. Now today in my study of verbal judo, what I learned was something really cool, because there's this technique called the poop sandwich, or the crap sandwich, or the SHIT sandwich, whatever you want to call it. And I hate this technique. I don't like it. And the author of the book, George Thompson, he didn't like it either. Now here's why he says, and I totally agree with this, is that if you go to give somebody praise or a compliment, first, the way this technique works, why it's called the poop sandwich, is that you give somebody a compliment, you tell them something that they did good, then you layer in some criticism, some critique, some negative feedback, the poop, and then you put another layer of here's what you did good. And so supposedly that's easier for someone to swallow when they've got good stuff surrounding the crappy stuff. Now for me, just if you got a problem with me, if you want to correct me, if you've got some criticism, whatever, just give it to me direct. I don't need to be babied with other stuff. And I believe that other people that you're working with, people that you're leading, that you're working around, you know what, they're people, adults too. You can be direct with them as well. Now you need to be tactful, but still you don't need to wrap it up in all this stuff. Now, George Thompson, he says this, completely agree with it, is that if you give somebody a compliment, if you praise somebody, then you follow it with then guess what? Anytime you go to praise somebody, they're expecting to get this poop layered in there, and it feels disingenuous anyways. So if you're going to praise somebody, just praise somebody. And if you're going to critique somebody, just critique somebody. Just be direct about it. What you don't want is you don't want your team or your people around you or your kids or whoever to feel that the praise you're giving them doesn't matter, because people respond to praise in a big way. And you don't want to lose that ability. You don't want to lose that trust. I think it breaks trust. All right, so don't use the poop sandwich. Just be direct with people. That's all it takes. All right, so remember, praise does some amazing things. Praise can get people to go in the right direction, unless you try to use this whole poop sandwich technique. The other thing I learned today from Verbal Judo, love this technique, is that if you do criticize someone, if you do need to correct them, go ahead and do that, and then follow it with what you like about them. Follow it with some praise afterwards. And what that does is it says, hey, you know what? This is something you need to do, but also there's this thing too, which you're really, really good at, and this is awesome when I see this. And now what that does is it ends it on a positive note. And since it comes after the negative, there isn't a surprise, there isn't a gotcha. All right, and that's ending things in a good way. All right, so that's how you can use praise and how you can avoid the poop sandwich.